You didn't stumble across this by accident. No way. Something bigger is at play. You were drawn here, pulled by a force that knows exactly what you need, right when you need it. And if your heart's pounding a little right now, if something deep inside you is leaning in, that's because you already know this is for you. Let's be real. The world is shifting fast. And while most people are asleep at the wheel, you, yes you, are waking up. Not everyone is chosen to walk this path, but you were. You've felt it your whole life, haven't you? That pull, that sense that you were made for more. And now is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now what's coming is powerful. And it's not just a change, it's a calling. You're being equipped for something massive, and this is the beginning. Get ready. You're not just here to survive, you're here to lead. This is just the beginning. Hit subscribe now and step into your calling. Your breakthrough starts here. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Imagine a seed buried deep in the soil. To the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. But underground, oh, there's movement. Quiet, steady, unseen. The soil is shifting. Pressure is building. The roots are reaching. And just when the surface seems still, a breakthrough begins. That's you, right now. You might not see it yet, but something is pushing through beneath the surface of your life. And no, it's not random. This isn't some roll of the dice or streak of luck. This is divine orchestration. You've been feeling that stirring, haven't you? That tension in your spirit, like you're being pulled towards something you can't quite name. That's not your imagination. That's alignment. That's purpose, waking up. This season isn't about chaos. It's about calibration. While the world scrambles for meaning, you've been handpicked for a higher assignment. Not everyone will see it. Not everyone will understand. But deep down, something inside you knows this moment isn't just a moment, it's your moment. And listen, I know life hasn't been easy. You've carried things people never even noticed. You've walked through fires you didn't start and storms you didn't deserve. But every single trial, every disappointment, every night you felt forgotten, it was preparing you, not punishing you, positioning you. Because God doesn't waste pain. He turns it, shapes it, uses it. What the enemy meant to break you, heaven is now using to build you. You didn't miss your chance. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. In fact, everything you've lived through has been leading to this very threshold. The tide is turning. And no, it won't make sense to the natural mind. What's coming is going to stretch your understanding and shake your routine. But it will also awaken your spirit and reignite your purpose. That quiet tug on your heart, that stillness that doesn't feel empty but expectant, that's the call, the real call, and it's got your name on it. You see, when God prepares to shift a life, He doesn't always send thunder. Sometimes He sends a whisper that echoes louder than 1,000 voices. He sends clarity that breaks confusion, like morning light piercing through a long night. And if you're still reading this, it means the invitation has reached you. Not everyone is built for this next chapter, but you are. You're not here by coincidence, you're here by appointment. So take a moment, let go of what was, shake off the dust of doubt. Don't waste energy trying to explain your transformation to those who weren't called to carry it. You don't need everyone to understand. You just need to be willing to move. The ground beneath your feet is not shaking to scare you. It's shifting to support you. The walls you once leaned on may be crumbling, not to trap you, but to release you. You've been surviving long enough. Now it's time to rise. This is about more than you. This is about the people you're called to reach, the hope you're meant to carry, the lives you were created to lift. The invitation is open. The moment is now. Will you step into it? Because, chosen one, you were never meant to blend in. You were born to break through. A deep current is sweeping through the unseen layers of existence, one that won't spare those who've detached from their essence. Not everyone will move forward. The divide is becoming unmistakable between those who have anchored themselves in inner truth and those who've chased hollow promises. In the silence between days, this reckoning is already underway. The gravity of this moment isn't just intense, it's irreversible. Many who dismiss the invisible threads that hold life together will soon find themselves unable to withstand the unraveling. While some brace for the unknown in fear, others rise with a strange calm, because their foundation isn't built on the shifting ground. A quiet separation is taking place, a sorting not by force, but by resonance. Those who've spent their lives echoing the noise of the world may soon find silence overwhelming. But for those attuned to a higher frequency, this is not collapse, it's clarity. And clarity always comes before the dawn of something greater. An invisible threshold has been crossed. The call isn't coming in the form of a warning anymore. It's a demand for presence. Now is the moment to act, not react. The preparation wasn't just for belief, it was for embodiment. Those who have spent seasons learning to walk in integrity will now be asked to lead with courage. There's no space left for passive conviction. As old structures crumble, many will be drawn to the ones who never stopped listening. Not all who return will understand why they feel the pull. They just know something vital lives where they once turned away. Former skeptics and wanderers are circling back, not because of persuasion, but because something beyond logic is guiding them. And those who never left the path must now be the ones to extend a hand, not with judgment, but with fire and compassion. The ones arriving now are not the same as they once were. Neither are the ones receiving them. This meeting of paths isn't random, it's sacred, and those ready to carry light must do more than shine. They must help others reignite. There are those whose presence carries quiet gravity. They are not louder, not more decorated, but they move through life with an awareness that sets them apart. Not because they are superior, but because they've heard something others haven't. A silent summoning that cannot be explained, only felt. Still, the story is not only about them. The ones drifting in the margins, distracted by the surface of life, are also written into this unfolding design. Their moment is arriving, not through force or persuasion, but through the subtle cracking open of what they once ignored. The task ahead is not to judge or distance from them, but to become a living invitation, offering presence, not perfection. Transformation is not limited to the awakened. Those who still walk half asleep are part of this rhythm too, and those who carry the light must now learn how to share it without extinguishing it. A shift, this profound, leaves no heart untouched. Even those certain of their role will at times feel the tremble of uncertainty. There will be moments when clarity blurs and confidence wavers, not because the purpose has vanished, but because its weight is growing heavier. This is not the season for silence. Those who once walked boldly may find themselves hesitating, but hesitation cannot become home. The work is not about theory, but movement. Truth lived out in visible action. The stillness of belief must evolve into motion, into presence that shapes the world around it. The challenge is not merely in enduring what comes, but in being the steady center for others when the ground gives way. As the veil thins, those who've wandered will begin to return, magnetized by something they never understood but always needed. And the ones who've stayed must now become bridges, not walls. This convergence is deliberate. It is not only an invitation, it's a responsibility, and it's happening now, whether we're ready or not. There are souls who move through chaos, not untouched, but unwavering, called not to explain, but to embody a deeper current of truth. Without seeking praise, they become a steady presence for those fraying at the edges of their lives. They don't always understand the ripple of their choices, nor do they chase outcomes, but in their quiet gestures, the larger tapestry is woven. At times, it won't feel like a mission at all, more like instinct, like a whisper in the chest that says, "This is what must be done." What seems small in the moment often turns out to be the seed of a much larger unfolding. The path they walk isn't mapped out. It reveals itself with each step they dare to take in trust. Even in uncertainty, something unmistakable is at work. Not in grand displays, but in the unnoticed acts of care, the unseen efforts to hold space, to lift, to soften the path for someone else. There's a momentum behind their movement that doesn't originate from ambition, but from alignment. And that current is precise. It places people exactly where they're meant to be, not by their will, but by a force far more deliberate. This is how the greater pattern completes itself, through the ones who act not for applause, but because their heart won't let them do otherwise. Now is not a time for stillness or retreat. The pulse of purpose has grown louder, and hesitation must fall away. The unfolding has already begun, and it requires presence, not perfection. What comes next depends on who dares to move with it. This is just the beginning. Hit subscribe now and step into your calling. Your breakthrough starts here. There are those whose strength has long been dormant, not from lack of power, but from waiting for the right moment to emerge. Now that moment is no longer in the distance. It's arrived, demanding presence, clarity, and courage. What rises within is not for personal applause or shallow victories, but for something far greater, to illuminate paths, to be a stabilizing force when others falter, and to serve a higher rhythm that flows through every heartbeat. This inner ignition is not loud, but it is undeniable. It's the kind of power that doesn't seek the spotlight. It becomes the flame others gather around. And in this awakening, action is no longer optional. What once felt like preparation now becomes movement. What was once internal becomes kinetic. To move forward, the unnecessary must be released, not from anger or urgency, but from alignment. That which no longer nourishes must fall away. The noise, the weight, the echoes of the past. These are not companions for the journey ahead. Clarity doesn't shout, but it knows what must go. Anchored belief becomes the compass. The presence that has walked with you silently will now reveal its direction through instinct, through signs not everyone will notice. This isn't about fear or flawless execution. It's about trust in what's been planted deep within. The tide has shifted. The distractions that once felt essential are now seen for what they are: sandbags on a rising vessel. To step fully into this call, one must move light, clear, and ready, not to escape the storm, but to walk through it as proof that the storm doesn't define the destination. Some carry invisible weight, clinging to what once brought comfort, but now quietly delays their evolution. There's a silent invitation pressing forward, an urging to unclench, to release the grip on all that no longer resonates, not because it was wrong, but because it has served its time. Letting go is not loss, it's space-making, for clarity, for movement, for alignment. The moment asks for full surrender, not partial participation. What lies ahead cannot grow in soil cluttered by the remnants of the past. True security does not come from what is kept, but from the trust that what's meant will remain, and what's needed will arrive right on time. In this unfolding chapter, fulfillment shifts its definition. No longer tied to trophies or praise, it finds new roots in connection, in presence, in impact that leaves no trace except in the hearts it touches. The pursuit of personal gain has reached its edge. What rises now is purpose woven with service. It's not about reaching the top, it's about becoming the foundation others can rise from. The deeper the giving, the more lasting the transformation. Every moment offered in care, every act made without spotlight, reshapes the world around it in quiet, lasting ways. And in that offering, true abundance is found, not in what's acquired, but in what's released and shared. The journey ahead asks for open hands and a steady heart. Everything else will fall into place. Many walk with an inner sense that something immense is unfolding, though few can name it. Beneath the surface of daily life, the rhythm has shifted. What once felt stable may now feel distant, and strange patterns are emerging with increasing urgency. Don't dismiss the disruptions or sudden disappearances. They are not without purpose. What may seem like confusion is, in fact, a meticulously timed shift. These events are not random tremors. They are signals. A deep alignment is taking place, and the veil between what is seen and unseen is growing thin. For those attuned to the deeper current, it brings reassurance. For others, the unknown may bring unease, but these markers do not exist to create fear. They are invitations to return to center, to stay alert, and to be ready. The unraveling of the old does not mean chaos has won. It means a recalibration is underway. Each strange occurrence, each flicker of the unexpected, is stitched into a much vaster design. Forces beyond comprehension are at work, not to destroy, but to transform. This is the awakening of an ancient truth, arriving in fragments and signs. Trust what anchors you. Let your foundation be more than what eyes can see or headlines declare. The tremors in the world are real, but they are not the end. They are the echo of a greater beginning. Stay rooted, stay awake, and continue shaping light wherever you are called. Some are born into eras of silence, others into the roar of rapid connection, and those here now have been placed in the very heart of the digital pulse for a reason. The message isn't confined to temples or gatherings anymore. It moves at the speed of thought, flowing through screens and signals, reaching souls across oceans without ever knocking on a door. The responsibility is vast, but so is the reach. Every platform becomes a potential path, every device a doorway. In this moment of unlimited connection, the call is not to retreat from the modern, but to sanctify it with intention. The mission remains the same. Only the methods have evolved. The pulse of communication has changed, and with it, the landscape of influence. This generation's voice is shaped in pixels and sent through airwaves, and within that web lies incredible potential to awaken, to remind, and to inspire. The tools at hand are not distractions. They are instruments, waiting to be played with purpose. There is no more waiting for the right way to speak truth. The paths are already open. The unseen can be spoken in sound bites visuals, or digital echoes, and each one can carry seeds of something eternal. To hesitate now is to ignore the very fabric of the era you were placed in. The message doesn't need a pulpit to live. It needs presence, creativity, and courage. Some are caught in a race that leads them further from themselves, chasing what sparkles on the surface, while forgetting the deeper radiance that cannot be bought or owned. But a shift is pressing in, subtle yet undeniable. What truly enriches the spirit is not found in accumulation, but in surrender. The moment asks for a letting go, not out of loss, but liberation. What no longer fuels the journey must be set aside: the habits, the fears, the illusions of control. When these weights are released, the space they occupied becomes fertile ground for something greater, guidance that doesn't come from outside, but rises from within, like light finding its source. A threshold is forming, and beyond it lies a different kind of wealth. One that doesn't fade, one that doesn't drain, one that multiplies the more it is shared. To move through it, one must be unburdened by what the world has declared essential. This is not retreat, but return, a realignment with the essence of what was always waiting. The invitation is active now, not in theory, but in lived reality. Something vast is taking root, and the ones attuned to it will not just witness change, they will embody it. This isn't a solitary climb, but a shared rise, a collective remembering. The air is charged with awakening, and the ones who answer will help carry others through, not for glory, not for gain, but because it is time. There are moments in history when the air feels heavier, not with despair, but with transformation. This is one of those moments. While the outer world may churn with noise and uncertainty, something luminous is forming beneath it all. A recalibration is in motion, and those tuned into its rhythm are not caught off guard. They are being positioned. It's not about fear. It's about focus. The landscape is shifting, and what rises now are those who can stand rooted, not in circumstance, but in unwavering truth. The alignment is not accidental, it is deeply intentional. There is work to be done, and it begins not with action, but with inner anchoring. What's being asked of you isn't perfection, it's presence. The call echoing now is not loud, but it is unmistakable. It asks for a readiness that goes beyond words, for a trust that stays steady in the dark. This isn't about waiting for signs, it's about becoming one. The transformation unfolding across the earth doesn't begin in politics or systems, it begins in the quiet resolve of those who live with integrity, with compassion, and with a deep connection to the sacred. Leadership in this time won't wear crowns or command attention. It will look like courage in stillness, like kindness where there's none, like guidance without domination. The revolution is seeded in spirit and blooms through the choices made in everyday moments. And through that silent blooming, everything changes. Some carry the spark of something greater, long before they realize it. The weight in their chest isn't burden, it's potential waiting to be claimed. The world has moved for too long in sleepwalk cycles, repeating routines that numb the soul. But that cycle is breaking, and a different rhythm is emerging, one that requires participation, not passivity. This isn't about confrontation or winning against others. It's about elevating everything you touch through conscious action and unwavering presence. This shift begins not outside, but within. The invitation is clear. No more shrinking, no more hiding. What lives inside you wasn't made for the middle ground. It was formed for impact, for alignment, for awakening. This calling doesn't wait for comfort. It arrives unannounced, stripping away the justifications used to stay small. The illusion of limitation is falling apart. What once looked like obstacles are now seen for what they truly were: training grounds. The future unfolding requires boldness, born of trust. And greatness? It isn't loud or flashy, it's consistent, intentional, devoted. It means becoming a vessel for something larger than personal ambition. It means living a life where love is the legacy and courage is the compass. Everything until now has been preparation. The signal has been sent, and what comes next depends on your answer. The ordinary has expired. What remains is the extraordinary you were built to become. Some carry within them a fire that remains steady even as the world tilts into disarray. Not because they are untouched by hardship, but because they've chosen to anchor themselves in something unshakable. In an age where noise is mistaken for truth and chaos disguises itself as progress, clarity will not come from the outside, it will rise from within. What shields the soul now is not strategy or status, but unbreakable trust in a higher design. The current season doesn't ask for passive belief, it demands active alignment. Fear is loud, distraction is constant, but so is the invitation to rise above both and live from a place where purpose overrides panic. This moment calls not for hesitation, but for embodiment. The illusions of worldly gain are crumbling, and only what's rooted in the eternal will endure. To live from faith is to move with intention, to let each thought and step become a declaration of trust. It is not about waiting for safety to act, but acting from a knowing that you are already held. The tests ahead will not announce themselves, they will simply appear. But those who have fortified their inner ground will not be shaken. They will move forward, not because the path is easy, but because their direction is clear. The time for silence is ending. The awakening is not pending, it's already begun. And the strength you seek to face it, it's not missing, it's been waiting. Now is the moment to claim it. Not later, not someday. Now, this is just the beginning. Hit subscribe now and step into your calling. Your breakthrough starts here. Some are born for quiet seasons, others for turning points, and this is a turning point. The weight you've carried isn't a burden, it's a preparation. Each trial you've faced has been shaping something within you. Clarity, resilience, trust. Now, that foundation is ready to be walked upon. This path isn't paved with promises of ease, but with certainty that you've been equipped for what lies ahead. Not for your glory, but so others might find their way through your light. The strength you've been given isn't for isolation. It's a tool for healing, leading, and anchoring those still searching for direction. Momentum is no longer something to wait for. It's already stirring beneath your feet. The unrest around you is not a reason to shrink back. It is the very cue to step forward. When hesitation knocks, answer with resolve. When fear whispers, stand taller. The difference between collapse and courage is trust, and trust isn't passive. It's an active decision to move even when the map is incomplete. The noise will rise, the world may tremble, but peace isn't found in the absence of struggle. It's born from knowing you are carried through it. Every step you take with intention writes a new line in the greater plan already unfolding. You don't need to be fearless to move forward. You just need to be faithful. The journey ahead won't ask you to be perfect. It will ask you to keep going, and that you were made for.